All right, so a question I get all the time is how does shallowing the club help with distance, help with club head speed, help me to hit it more solid? There's actually three things that are going on here that all are helped by shallowing the club. Now the first one is, if you can imagine a club shaft really shallow like this, the opposite of that would be extremely steep, or I could even go this way, which would be not really a real swing, but it's going to help me to show the forces that are going on here. So if I imagine in my golf swing, I'm pulling my hands down roughly on this kind of a plane like this. Now if I take this club and instead of being really shallow, I go extremely steep and even past steep way over here. If I pull my hands down like I would in a golf swing, what does the momentum of the shaft want to do, the momentum of the club head? Well, it wants to go this way. It actually wants to kick away from my target. So instead of kicking forward toward the direction I want to hit the ball, it's kicking in the opposite direction. Now, to add insult to injury, it also makes the face really want to open up. So it hurts my club head speed and it kind of slams the face open to where I can't square it up. Many players experience this. They'll solve this by coming more over the top so the ball starts more left, but because the face is open, they slice it. Better players get steep, the face wants to slam in behind them, stay open. They swing more inside out to try to hit a draw, but now they have to kind of manipulate it and throw it at the last second to try to square up the face with the hands at the last second. So in the first scenario there, the first thing is whenever the club gets steeper, it wants to kick back away, and that causes you to lose some club head speed, to lose some distance. Now if I take the exact opposite of that and I go extremely shallow, just so you can feel this, and grab a club, do this for yourself, you'll feel it right away. I'm gonna have extremely shallow flat club shaft. I'm gonna pull my hands in the exact same direction that I did last time, but you'll see here now the club wants to kick back in front of me. The momentum of the club head and the shaft want to kick back forward, which is the direction that I want to swing. Even better, it helps to square up that face. The club face wants to close down, which helps me to not have to feel like I do much with my hands to square up the club face. So piece number one, it helps to actually accelerate the club more as you get shallow because it wants to kick the club back in front of you. Also helps, as a little side advantage, to not get stuck behind you like we were just talking about. If you feel stuck in your golf swing, like you have to, like there's nothing you can do to get the club moving forward, and then you feel this big flash with your hands, the club shaft is probably want to kick stuck behind you because you're too steep early in the downswing. Now the second piece that I already mentioned there is it helps you to effortlessly square up the club face. So as this club starts to kick back in front and the club face wants to close, now the harder I swing, the more momentum I have kicking my club face square. I really don't have to do a lot with my hands. If I'm steep and all of a sudden the club face wants to do this, now I have to throw the brakes on my swing, flip with my hands to try to square that face back up so my face is wide open. I kind of slow everything down to square the face back up, and I lose distance and club head speed because I'm having to slow down my swing or I'm going to block it a mile to the right. So that's the second thing it does. Makes it more effortless to square up the club face and more effortless with your hands. That means you can swing harder without having to slow down your swing and manipulate it. So that helps for distance there too. And finally, it helps you with shaft lean. Now, when I get this club face wanting to close down, I can get more shaft lean. So as players, like pros, every single pro that you're going to see on TV, if you look at their swings, they're going to have some lag. They're going to be releasing that lag, but they're still going to have shaft lean, meaning their club shaft is not going to be up and down like this. It's going to be leaning forward like that, and that's going to compress the golf ball. Now what that does to help with distance, it takes the standard loft of the club and it turns it down to make it essentially a lower iron. So here I have a 7 iron, excuse me. And if I lean this forward the same amount that the average pro is, about 10 degrees of shaft lean or 11 degrees of shaft lean with a 7 iron, I'm taking that 7 iron and turning it into the loft of a 4 iron at impact. They're really taking loft off there. So even if you have a 4 iron with a shorter shaft, you're going to be able to hit it farther than you are your 7 iron. Everybody in the world is going to hit their 4 iron farther than a 7 iron, even if they're cut to the exact same length. 4 iron's obviously usually a little longer, but even if we had the same length shaft, the 4 iron is going to go farther. That's one of the reasons the pros hit their irons so far. They're shallowing it out, getting some shaft lean, and really compressing the golf ball. Not to mention, if I'm coming into the golf ball and my shaft is leaning backwards like this, I'm going to hit it thin. That leading edge is kind of coming up into the ball. I'm going to blade it. As I start to lean it forward, all of a sudden that leading edge gets closer to the ground. I can really compress it there too. So if you want to work on this, I recommend, obviously I'm a little biased here, I developed this training aid called the Brick, and it's going to teach you these correct angles. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up this alignment stick in the shallowing slot in the side of the brick. I'm going to point that to my target. So here I'm going to go to that red and white flag. I'm going to put this, since I have a middle iron, I have a 7-iron, but I'm going to put it in the 6-iron slot. 6-iron, 7-iron, 8-iron. They're all within a degree of each other, so you can use any of those you want. I'm going to scoot this back just a hair so I can put the ball here. I like to put it at least a club head width. If you're starting out, maybe even 2 club head widths inside the brick. So I'll go ahead and scoot this over a little bit more to give myself some extra room, as though I was just starting to use this device. And now I have real tour player data, almost 100 tour players. I have their real TrackMan data measuring their what's called vertical swing plane, and that's what this stick is based on. So we're not just guessing here. This is what the angle that the best players in the world are swinging on. So if I grab a middle iron here, as I'm making practice swings, I say, okay, I'm just going to match this angle with the angle of this stick. I know I'm perfectly on plane and shallowing it out just like the pros are doing it. Now from there, I can feel the momentum of the club wanting to kick forward. I can feel the momentum of the club head want to release, and it makes it easier to get a little shaft lean too. So if I just feel like I do nothing with my hands, that club face is going to want to square up a whole heck of a lot better. There we go, and I hit that one about as good as I can hit one. Maybe 5 feet left of the flag. Got my new Ping I-240 irons, feel pretty daggone solid, but that one was hit nice. I wish I could hit them all that good, to be honest with you. Another thing we can do, if we're working on that shaft lean, is we can take this same brick, put it in the wedge impact position, and this is simulating the average tour player shaft lean with a wedge. It's like a gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge is all going to be around this angle. That's the clubs you're going to have the most shaft lean with. Now what I've found is that if you're struggling to get this shaft lean and compress the golf ball, if you can train that with a wedge, you're going to have the most shaft lean. So when I make this little wedge swing, I can take a golf ball here. I'm sideways on the range, so I won't be able to hit one here. But if I just match up the angle of my shafted impact with the angle of this stick, I know I'm getting the right amount. And I just kind of ingrain that. I'm feeling that motion. Another thing I like to do is go ahead and let that heel lift up on your right foot. That'll help this to come in and get that shaft lean. If I can feel that position I need to be in, and I can get the shaft lean that the pros are with a wedge, it is so easy to get enough shaft lean with, say, a 6-iron or a long iron, a hybrid, something like that. It makes it very, very simple. Most players I see when they're doing this, they're falling back. The shaft is almost leaning this way backwards, and now they're turning that 7-iron into a 9-iron. Versus doing what the pros are doing and turning that 7-iron into a 4 or 5-iron. Same thing with wedges. Work on the shaft lean, get it with your wedges first. It'll be a piece of cake getting it with the rest of your bag. So that's 2 of the drills. There's probably 6 or 7 more drills that this brick does. I'd start with those 2. Get your shaft lean, get your compression, start hitting the ball a whole lot easier, or a whole lot better. Take your hands out of it to where you don't feel like you're manipulating the face, and the game gets a heck of a lot easier. Now on this page, we have been running out of these. We do have some in stock right now. I apologize if they do sell out. We've been selling these really well. They've been flying off the shelves. We have some in stock right now. If you want to click on the page, somewhere there'll be a button to where you can go get your brick. You start working on shallowing, compressing the ball with that shaft lean, and I can't wait to hear about your amazing results. I'll see you soon.